Happy Friday, everyone. TGIF for the Monday through Fridayers that are not working the weekend. And I don't know what to say for those of you who are working the weekend. Hopefully, you're doing what you love, and so you don't mind it. Today is day 6. And we are talking about requisite number 1, right? So releasing negative emotions, limiting beliefs, what can be referred to as baggage, all those things that are getting in your way. So 2 things I want to just touch upon today. First of all is how do we find out what we need to release? And the second is then how do we actually release it? And I'm going to give you a book recommendation today. So the things that get in our way, right? How do we find them, right? It's about looking for that root cause, right? Being able to identify what is that story that we keep telling ourselves over and over again. And because we're telling ourselves that story, we're not able to really step forward, because remember that story is instruction to the unconscious mind. So yesterday I explained the filter, right? And like we're carrying a filter, and so then that filter gets in the way. Once we release that filter, now all of a sudden we can see clearly, and we're free. Sometimes you can figure out what that root cause is by yourself, by simply asking yourself, questions, and being able to say, well, why do I believe this? What's the purpose of that? Why is there this, belief that is present? And, what happened to me that I have taken on this belief, or whatever it is. So really looking for what is that root cause, that belief, that story that you keep telling yourself over and over again, right? I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. Whatever that is, right? And being able to figure out that story that's getting in the way of what it is that you want to be able to achieve, or the goal that you want to release. Sometimes for some people, it's a fear or a phobia that they need to be able to, let go of. And it happened, a lot of times because something that was really emotionally impactful happened when you were younger, and then the unconscious mind recognizing that that was a negative emotion that came up during that experience has dutifully carried that forward, and it's simply projecting it into the future, giving you the anxiety that it's going to happen again, right? Because anxiety is taking something that happened in the past, projecting it into the future, and then that anticipation that that negative thing is going to happen again. Because it happened in the past, it's going to happen in the future, right? That's what creates the anxiety. And so if you release that, the emotions from what happened in the past, there's nothing to fuel the anxiety for the future. So that becomes really, beneficial, but we want to be able to get rid of that and, move into saying, okay, let's let go of that. Sometimes for people, it is traumatic experiences that happened when, they were younger, or maybe they weren't so young. And then it's also being able to release the energy around that, right? The emotions around that, and understanding that while we don't change the story, we can disconnect the emotion from the thing that happened. So how do we do that? This is where the book recommendation comes in. I recommend that you read the book, Mental and Emotional Release by Dr. Matt James. Because this is a process that, it explains the process. And it's a process that I use with a lot of my clients, a lot of them, because it's so helpful, right? We're going for that root cause, and we're trusting the unconscious mind. And the really great thing about this process is that you never if it's something traumatic, you never have to relive it, right? You never have to go back there, because usually the very first event was something that was very small and not related to anything. And that's when the unconscious mind created that first meaning along with that, belief. And once we disconnected at that very first domino, right? I like to refer to it as dominoes. Once you get that very first domino and you disconnect it, then what happens is you collapse it, and now all the subsequent ones collapse as well. So that now you've gotten rid of it all and you can step forward without having that, you're taking the sunglasses off. Now you can see that the sky is yellow, and now you can start making decisions about, okay, how am I going to move forward? So it's really, really powerful. Honestly, one of the most important things that can be done to be able to really help creating those goals. And, if it's something small, it might be you might be able to release it, on your own easily. If it's something bigger, right, then that's when, like tapping into being able to do, MER, or, really get into that root cause and going through that process is beneficial. And if that's something that you want, feel free to, reach out to me, and, we can talk. But I wanted to go through that first requisite for change, and that is the release work, so that we're getting rid of whatever it is that's getting in the way. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about creating a compelling future. So until then, have a great day. This is Rebecca with Mind Over Matter.